And we are live. Welcome to Something Nice with Dinano. I take it we are going out live to you wherever you are. I'm actually trying to check on my phone here to see if my thing is going live here. Okay, great. We're live. Welcome to all 5 of you that have joined us. We already have 10 likes on this one. We have brought back a man who personally, I will say this, he's here, he's listening, he can hear me. I wasn't too convinced with what Thato had to say. Some people could even read from my body language, but we've given it time and we've had people saying, no, Dinano, we want this gentleman back. Because this is a platform run by me and you as a subscriber, as a watcher, as a contributor to this channel, you also have a say. We have brought back Thato Matsemela. I had to ask him off air if I said his surname correctly. He's here with us. If you don't believe me, now you do. Mr. Matsemela, welcome, sir.
Yes, I know, appreciate it. That.
If you're listening, thank you very much. Listening and watching, of course. Thank you very much for joining us. I want to ask you a favor. Please give us a like and send your questions, and we'll be able to beam them here. Later on, I think at around 5:45 South African time or Central African time, we'll be able to share a link with you as a person who's listening and watching so that you can come in and engage us. And Thato Matsemela, let's start with a word of prayer. Malusolungileyo mdali wezulu nomhlaba, thank you for this time you have given us. Thank you for such a decent day. It was cold in Joburg, but you have kept us safe. We thank you for allowing Thato to avail himself for this special program. And we ask that it is not us that shine through what needs to be said here, but you. And if we somehow falter, we somehow have mistakes, may your spirit be amongst us. We are not alone. It's not just the two of us. There are many others who are joining us. Thank you for allowing them to be here with us today. Sicela ba ukungaveli thina kodwa kuvele wena. Konke kusicela igama kaYesu Kristu Nkosi yethu. Amen. There's a saying that says, isiXhosa sitolikwa. You don't translate isiXhosa. That's the language I speak. But we have a man from Lesotho, what do they call it? The kingdom in the sky, Mr. Thato Matsemela, who was here talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls not being the Dead Sea Scrolls, but being the Bantu Scrolls. He's joining us for a live stream so that you, as a person who watches, who subscribes, who is a member of this channel, can engage him. Thato, just introduce yourself to someone who doesn't know you.
My name is Thato Matsemela. I'm born in KwaZulu-Natal, but actually raised in Lesotho. Mataung machela wan tamara pedi, whatever yana matlatsa tebe yana. Wa malebelela kgomo ya seengweta. Mataung ba hahlale pitula le kana le molala, batho ba komekome, batho ba kometswe ba bolawa, batho ba monyo wa le gana batho ba mahahanyana go pela.
What does that mean?
Now, it means that I'm a lion, came from my ancestors. I'm calling upon my ancestors, Tete, Marapedi, Debeyani, Shalili. So it's a way of actually connecting with your forefathers to activate your DNA, of understanding your own identity. We are still in an awakening stage.
Okay.
We are still in an awakening stage. There is more to learn, there is more to discover.
Okay. To tap into their DNA, just explain that for someone who might not understand. I'm also a bit confused. When you tapping into the DNA of your ancestors, what does that mean?
Connecting with them, it's actually understanding who you are as a person, understanding where you come from, your originality, It's a way of actually investigating. With that, it brings a lot of interest of investigating your identity by understanding your historicity. Where do you come from? So connecting with them is understanding your DNA. Then understanding your DNA, it activates you who you are as a person.
Okay, okay. I won't say I understand. I won't lie, but as we go along with these things and with these interviews, we learn, we grow, we find out new things. To be honest, Thato, I think I was honest with you from the onset. When you came on, I wasn't sure about the information you presented. And I don't want to lie, I am still a bit skeptical, but I am hoping you'll be able to convince me otherwise. If you can't convince me, maybe convince someone else who's listening to this live stream. A lot of people were impressed. A lot of people said, I must bring you on. That's why we are here today. Thank you for availing yourself. What's been coming up in your life in the past, say, 6 weeks since we've met? What new things have come to light?
I actually discovered something new about the real Mesopotamia. The Mesopotamia that we're given, which is Middle East, it's a false location. That is not a real Mesopotamia, because Mesopotamia is a Greek word which actually comes from, which it means the land which is between two large rivers. So that is actually the etymology of Mesopotamia. So Mesopotamia, the real Mesopotamia is in West Africa, because when you look into the book of Acts, when Abraham, in fact, it's not Abraham because there is no him in Africa. No, Abram, but the closest is Abram. The real name of Abram is Abiyama. It's Igbo, means it means all divine knowledge or revelation. So that's Abiyama. That's his real name of Abram. Abiyama, Iseka, and Akobi. So Akobi means first born.
Okay. Sorry, let me just try to fix the audio here. People on the comments are saying there is echo. Guys, I can't monitor that one, but on my side, I'm not picking up anything. Is the echo audible on both my end and Thato's end, or is it only coming from Thato's side? Please let us know in the comments. Okay, Thato, you had a lot of interesting things and a lot of new information for me to hear. So I've just asked the people to let us know where the echo is coming from. Hopefully they'll be able to respond. I don't want to watch because I can't even hear LOL. And then there's something from echo on your guest side. So they're saying the echo is on your side. Okay, let's try to fix that audio then on Thato's side to see if we'll be able to do it. So I'm assuming, thank you, Africa Holy Land. Thank you, Bloom Dude and Alisa Lee. Thank you, guys. I understand now. I think it's the room environment you're in. I don't know if we'll be able to sort that out, but if the microphone is close enough, just get closer to the microphone. I think that could help, Thato. Yeah, if you get closer to the microphone, I think we'll be able to. Okay. Okay, just carry on. You say, okay, Abram. This is the new thing you found now. And you're saying it's in Igbo. So just come a bit closer to the microphone so that we can try to lose that echo on your side.
Can you still hear me?
We can still hear you, but it looks like your connection is taking, as we'd say it here in South Africa. But just come closer to the microphone. I saw the mic was close to your mouth. Bring it a bit closer so that we can try to eliminate that echo. Yeah. It must look, the mic must face your mouth directly, not on the side. No. That's on the side. No. Bring it to the other side, closer to the other side, other. No. The other side, yes.
This side.
No. Bring it towards you. You're pushing it further now. Away. Yeah. Let's try now.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. I think the echo is better now.
Okay.
So don't try to listen back to yourself. If your headphones are too loud, the echo is going to bleed through. Thank you, James, for raising that. So just try to turn down the volume on your earphones, because now I can actually pick myself up coming back. I don't know if there's someone else listening on a speaker. No, put the earphones on.
To turn down the volume.
Yeah, no, you sound fine, but don't speak to the side of the mic. You are now on the side of the mic. The mic, the front of the mic must be directly in front of you. Yes, that's it. Okay, let's go. Abraham.
Oh yes. His real name is actually Abiyam. He was from Ntira when he was in Mesopotamia, according to the book of Acts, chapter 2, chapter 7, verse 2 to 4. You can even look into it. That Tira is actually in Mesopotamia.
So you're saying, let's look at Acts chapter 2. Acts chapter 2, verse 4, you say? Now Thato's sound is gone. Okay, I don't know what's happening, but okay, now you're back. Now you're back. Carry on.
Oh, yeah.
You're saying Acts chapter 2, verse 4.
Yeah, Acts chapter 7, verse 2 and 4.
Acts chapter 7, verse 2 and 4. Okay, let's look it up, because the last time I kept saying, please give us references, and I don't think we had a lot of references to give to the people. So should I read these verses?
Yes, please do.
Okay, let me read it on my side. It says, to this he replied, brothers and fathers, listen to me. The God of glory appeared to our father Abraham while he was still in Mesopotamia, before he lived in Haran. Leave your country and your people, God said, and go to the land I will show you. So he left the land of the Chaldeans and settled in Haran. After the death of his father, God sent him to his land where you are now living. Or sent him to this land where he is now living.
Which is Canaan's land. Which is Canaan's land. So we understand when he left his father Tira, Tira is in West Africa, because Mesopotamia is actually in West Africa. The Mesopotamia, which is actually in Middle East, the land, the rivers are actually drying up. They are not as large as they are described into the definition of Mesopotamia. They're drying up. That's the latest news, that the lands are not as big as we are told, because that's not the real location. Because the real location is actually in Nigeria, because Mesopotamia was actually in the area of Nigeria, Niger, and also Burkina Faso. That is the area of Mesopotamia. Because the land of two large rivers, it's the same description into the definition of the Mesopotamia, which is in Nigeria. So the ancient land, which was the first people to be civilized, because Mesopotamia are the first people to be civilized. Therefore, West Africa are the first people to be civilized, more than before even the Egyptians. So that is Mesopotamia.
Okay. I don't want us to start on a different angle immediately. I want us to just go a bit back to just give clarity to some of the things that that arose from our last interview.
Mm-hmm.
Our focus was the Bantu scrolls. Some people call them the Dead Sea Scrolls.
Mm-hmm.
So you had said that these scrolls were actually found in Africa, in a place called Qumra, a place which I actually know, which is not far from where I came from. That's why I was a bit reluctant, because, you know, people don't think that there might be a lot of history from where they come from. But you came with new knowledge, saying that, no, this place is actually here in South Africa. These people, whoever they are, they changed it to be where they wanted to be. What is your source for that information, Thato? the information that says the Dead Sea Scrolls were not found in Qumran. The Dead Sea Scrolls were found in Qumra in South Africa. How did you get to find that information?
Okay. First of all, let's start. Let me give you a source of. Let's start with Canaan's land first. So we are going to go to the Qumra case. The location of Canaan's land, which is in Israel, it's a fake location. It's not a real location at all. So, Canaan's land, which is actually in South Africa. Therefore, according to the Human Research Science Council, in the Dictionary of South African Place Names in page 107, they proclaim that Canaan's land is the real Canaan's land. Even in the old maps, it shows that the Canaan's land is in South Africa, which is accumulates Western Cape, Eastern Cape, which is also Lesotho. So that is the real Canaan's land. This is the land which is flowing with milk and honey. So to say that there are also Dead Sea Scrolls, it's because it came from white people. It came from white people, so that they called it the Dead Sea Scrolls. Why would they call them the Dead Sea Scrolls? Well, we have such as other books that are also not called inspired. So the ones that are inspired by white people, they are the ones that are inspired by the Romans, and the ones that are removed by the Romans are called what's the word? Not inspired. So because of white people brought this religion, and to think that everything that they told us is the truth without actually making further investigations in what they say. Remember, these people, when they came here, they are not here to actually to teach you or to try to civilize you. They are here. We're already civilized, number one. Civilization starts in Africa. So these people are here to benefit from the land. They are here for the resources of this land. The way it was introduced, it was not introduced peacefully in the first place, because we know that what is happening currently, what has caused this situation, it is because of religion, because of being submissive to a colonial propaganda. That is why it make the proclivities inside your mind. Psychologically, a person becomes affected because you're worshiping something which does not have the same identity as you. So therefore, it removes you from your culture. Therefore, they have access to the land. Therefore, they have access to the resources because you are submissive towards them. They are the heads now. Therefore, you're worshiping something which does not have the same identity as you. Even if when you call on these names, they are foreign. There is no Jesus in Africa. There is no Yahushua in Africa. There is no Yah in Africa. Because when you look into the strong concordance, when you look into the etymology of Baal, Baal means Lord. Then Lord means Baal.
Hold on, Thato. People are complaining. They're saying the echo is unbearable. I just tried something here in the back end to try to fix this thing. And I did my echo cancellation here. Do you have a pair of speakers there that you're listening through? Besides the headphones, do you have a pair of speakers? Do you have speakers there that you're listening through? Please, you need to shut them off. Just ask your technical person there if you have speakers that are on. We need to shut them off. Use echo.
In the background. Sound in the background. Can you still hear the sound? Can you still hear me? I can't hear you. Let me try to talk to my technical team. Yeah. Oh, the echoes are still on. There are some echoes. Oh, we are switching the system. Can you hear me? We are switching the system. Oh. Okay.
Am I still muted? Can you hear me? James, Alisa, I'm counting on you. Yes, I can hear you, Thato. Okay. AB, can you hear me? Can you hear Dinano? James, can you hear me? Volta, can you hear me? Because people are now saying, now we lost Dinano. Ah, my good. We don't need this. Microphone and guest audio during video playback. Am I still muted? Okay, Thato is coming back. We can hear you, Dinano. Okay, thank you, guys. While Thato tries to fix his issue, if you managed to listen to our initial interview with Thato, just let us know what your questions are on what Thato has to say. Because the best way for us to keep this going is for you to tell us what stood out for you in Thato's presentation so that we can hold Thato accountable. This is something we've done specifically so that you, as a person who watches the podcast, can come on during a live stream and engage our guests on whatever assertions and claims that they have. It's something we've done with Yahunde Batakane. It's something we have done with Sir Amadiel. We've done it with Brother Ron and Joshua Maponga. We're now doing it with Brother Thato. In about a week or so, we'll be calling back Brother Ron Dalton Jr. so that you, as a person who watches Something Nice with Dinano, can hold them accountable. Okay, thank you, James. James says now we can hear you. Brandon Buka also says we can hear you. Dinano, you good now, Volta? Okay, let's try to bring in Thato then and see if we can bring him on. Brother Thato?
Yes, Ndate. Am I still audible?
Okay, I can hear you, but now I hope we fix the issues of your echo. Because now this will have us going around in circles and we don't want to do that. We just want to carry on with the conversation. The echo is still on. Oh, bless. Thato, can you please write out the real name of Africa in Bantu, land of our forefathers, that you said for diaspora who don't speak Bantu? Thank you. Do you get the question? AB is asking, Thato, can you please write out the real name of Africa in Bantu, that you said for diaspora who don't speak Bantu? What language do you speak, AB? Let us know. Welcome, Bantu Connect. Welcome, AB. Welcome, James. James, I'm struggling with your surname. Is it French? Toussaint. I'm struggling there. Welcome to Hasia Sanchez. Welcome, Alisa Lee. Thank you for joining us. There's Shagava. There's Coco Mango. Yeah, we see all of you. We appreciate you being here. Brother Thato, they say the echo is still there. I'm a sound guy, so the placement of your microphone is a bit strange. So it's lying on the side. Can you just put it up so that, yes, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how it's supposed to be. Let's go. So Brother AB is asking, can you please write out the real name of Africa in Bantu? Land of our fathers. I guess that's what they say Bantu means. I don't know. So something that you had said, I guess, in the previous interview, there are people who don't speak Bantu languages and they want to know the name of Africa. We've heard of Alkebulan.
Alkebulan is actually Arabic. It's a description which comes from the Arabs, the same way as we are described as Africa. We are actually we have our own differences, and also we are very diverse. Continent is a very diverse continent. So we have a lot of ethnic Kushites, the Bantus, the Igbos. We really have a lot of diversity. People who come from Africa. So, but the real name of Africa is Mhlabeni. In Sotho we say Lefatshe. That is the real name of Africa. That is the real name of Africa, because it is actually the biggest continent in the world. There's no continent which is big, which is bigger than Africa. That is why it's called Earth. That is why it is called Earth, because there's no continent which is big like Africa. So Africa is the...
If you had to translate it in my language, Emhlabeni would mean the land, on the ground. It could mean any of those two. Right? Or our planet or Earth. Ezulwini nasemhlabeni, heaven and earth. So emhlabeni, that's what we call it in my language. And I guess in your language, Sesotho is Lefatshe, correct?
Exactly that.
Okay. So I want to go back now to some of the questions that people raised from our initial interview. I'm going to go there, and then I'm going to have to ask them, raise them with you so that you can try to answer them on the fly. But just inform us, Thato, what is the source of your information? Besides the Bible, what other references are you using to get this knowledge that you are bringing forth?
Like I said previously, I always give a shout out to Musa Wamdali, and also Prince Sahara, and also Black V Education TV in Nkosazulu were actually dropping this information. I was able to investigate the information. I was actually looking into adding more references onto my, onto the information that I actually discovered. It actually helped me a lot to know the truth. Not to be controlled by religion. Because we have so many churches in Africa. Let's be honest. The same very Bible, we have so many different denominations which don't benefit us when it comes to the liberation of land, when it comes to policy change in Africa, when it comes to actually in entertaining the injustice that we received from our previous from our past, what we've experienced from the past. It doesn't bring solutions. They don't bring solutions. So the marketplace of churches is heaven. So heaven is the product, then the market are the people that are attending the church. The same very Bible that says we came from the same very Bible that says that the body is the temple. You don't need the church to actually to know the truth, because the church and the churches are not here to bring the truth, but they are here to bring the deception. Because people have been oppressed by the same very system. What have we benefited from the church until today? So religion sells hope in the sky. So it does not sell hope on land to the people on the ground. It diverts an attention from the social justice. So if this white Jesus actually forgave the whites for killing the blacks, can the blacks be forgiven if they revenge?
Are you directing this one at me, or is it a hypothetical, a rhetorical question?
It is a question, because these people, when they brought it towards us, they didn't bring it peacefully, because they told us lies. They have benefited from the land that they have currently. They even create an independent state in Cape Town. So these people, they are here because they're benefiting from the land, but they're not here to actually help you to strive into your life. The system is oppressing us. What is the enemy? Is the system. And it's not also about black and white, We are dealing with people who sign contract with spirit, because the same very Bible that says we are against principalities, men of power, men that rule the world, men that sign contract with spirits. So we are dealing with people who have their own signs and hold that belief system so that they can actually oppress us while they actually benefit. The minority of people in this world are actually benefiting while the majority are actually struggling. So the land is actually still an issue even today. It wasn't taken. It wasn't taken peacefully. It wasn't taken it wasn't taken peacefully. It was taken actually violently, because these people never took their intentions was never actually to do business with you. The intention is to actually benefit and strive better than you. So that was the intention in the first place. To benefit from the land, to take the resources so that they can control you. So you suffer in your land, in your forefathers' land. Then they are benefiting in your forefathers' land. So it doesn't make sense. So what about the generation which comes after you? What are they going to do? What are we doing at this moment in order to bring change into our economy, in order to bring change into ourselves, in order to bring change to our brothers and sisters? Because we've been having these churches and these people believing that Jesus is coming. How long, for how long, my brother? For how long? For how long have we actually waiting for solutions? We have to make an effort by actually finding the solutions, because these people who actually colonized you won't bring the same solutions towards you. They won't bring solutions. They are not here to bring solutions. They're not here to actually tackle the system.
Okay. Now you are saying a lot of things. And it sounds like you are making a political speech and challenging the authenticity of God's word about Christ's return. Let's go to the questions from the people. Msizi Sishi says, where is the true Euphrates?
The two Euphrates, which is actually in Mesopotamia, is not the real one. The real one is actually it's called the Niger River, and I don't know what's the other one called. The Niger, two large rivers in Nigeria. The other one is called Nigeria.
Are you looking it up?
Yes, I'm looking it up.
Okay. So now, in about 5 minutes' time, we will open the lines. We will paste a link at the top of the live chat. If you click on that link, or if you copy that link, I hope you'll be able to copy it. If you copy it and you click it in your browser, or if you click to it, you should be able to come in the background, and we should be able to assist you and talk to you. Guys, I can't sort out this echo thing, because when we tried to do the echo cancellation, what happened was it actually muted me. So I think it's something that we need to just bear with. No, they are saying the echo is still there. It's something we'll just have to bear with. Yes, so can you respond? Where's Euphrates? You said you were looking it up.
Oh, yes. The Euphrates rivers, which are in Mesopotamia, is actually the Nile, the Niger River, and also the Benue rivers. Those are the large rivers which represents the real Mesopotamia, which is the land which is between two large rivers. So the Nigeria River, which is shaped like an Y, it actually is the real Mesopotamia, which is located. Because the Mesopotamia, which is Middle East, it's actually, those rivers are drying up. They're not as large as the same rivers which are in Nigeria. So they're drying up as we're speaking today.
Okay, so now
people are struggling to get water.
Is them drying up something that was prophesied? How do you link it to the answer that you're giving?
Because when you look into the book of Genesis, when Abraham left his father Terah to go to actually Mesopotamia, from Terah to go to Canaan's land, he went southwards. Let me look for the verse.
Okay, so now we've put up the link for you to come through in the back end and try to engage Thato. I will continue try to fix his audio on my side. But now I'm scared to do that because the last time we did that, it just shut down my own audio and we weren't able to talk to you. Carry on, Thato.
In the book of Genesis, chapter 12, verse 1 to 5, it talks about when Abiyama received the Most High, when the Most High told him to leave to leave his father Terah and to go to Canaan's land, which is southwards, up into Canaan's land, and he was heading southwards. So the Mesopotamia that we have currently and the location that we have, to go to Mesopotamia and from Mesopotamia to Israel, it's actually west. It's west. It is west. It's not southwards. It's west.
Okay. Chagava, if I'm saying it correctly. If I'm not, please excuse us, brother. He's asking, where is Jerusalem?
Jerusalem is actually located in South Africa. That is the Jerusalem from the Great Walls of Zimbabwe, which are connected to also to Botswana. You can even Google Solomon's Walls in Botswana. They are there, Solomon's Walls in Botswana, and also Solomon's Walls in Namibia, which are called the Great Sand Walls in Namibia. Those are Solomon's Walls.
Hold on, Thato. Solomon's Walls, also known as the Wall of the First Temple, refers to a section of the ancient city wall of Jerusalem, specifically the one that surrounded the first temple built by King Solomon. I'm trying to see if there's any reference to one in Botswana. You say there's one in Botswana. So should I say Solomon's Walls? Okay, here it is. Solomon's Wall, Botswana. Okay, I see the wall. I need to share this with our audience. Let's try to share the screen. I'm struggling with this app, but if you are watching from home and you have access to the internet, obviously if you're here, you do have access to the internet. Just Google on your search engine, Solomon's Wall, Botswana. There's actually a picture of a stone structure that is said to be in Botswana, in northern Botswana, and it looks like a wall. Okay, you say there's also another Solomon's Wall. Where's the other one, Thato?
In Namibia, it's called the Great Sand Walls.
The Great Sand Walls. Okay. Would then this temple be stretching from Botswana to Namibia? Would it be that big, or what are you implying by saying it's in Botswana and it's in Namibia? Is there one temple were there many temples?
No, the temple itself, it's located in Namibia, but the city itself was a huge city. A huge city. The temple, I even have old maps. I will share, if you don't mind, I can also look into those maps. I will share, but let me Google them first so that I'm able to actually to share those maps, so people, the audience, are able to look on those maps.
I'm trying to figure out how we can share stuff here. By the way, if you are here with us, thank you for joining us. We have brought back Thato Matsemela. He was here talking about Bantu scrolls and how those that are in control are changing the names of the locations and of the places in the Holy Land. He is now answering a question from Chagava. He asks, where is Jerusalem? Thato says Jerusalem is in Botswana. Jerusalem is in Namibia. He speaks of Solomon's Wall that is found in Namibia. He speaks of also another Solomon's Wall that was found in Botswana. If you go to your search engine, Google specifically, because that's the one I'm using here, you type Solomon's Wall, Botswana, you see the ruins of something that looks like a wall. It's quite huge. There's an image of a person standing next to it. You'll be able to see it there. I don't know, when you hear something new, you are always reluctant and, you don't really believe it until maybe you hear it from a number of people. But as we carry on bringing these guests and people, we are going to hear a lot of new information. So maybe on my part, I have to prepare my brain to process these things and just be open to this new information. Brother Tat, carry on. Are you still there, Ntate? Thato, are you still there?
Yes, that I'm still on.
Okay. You were saying you were looking for
me.
Yeah, I can hear you. You were saying you were okay. Okay, I see you guys have shared something. Hold on. Let me put it somewhere solo. Okay. Here's what Thato is sharing. What are we seeing there, brother?
I have to also show the map before I show. Let me show the name of the map so people could look at the name of the map first. This is a map that I'm talking about. So people could look at the map.
Let's bring in James. Thato, as you prepare the map, let's bring in James, Thato.
No problem.
James, you have muted yourself. Unmute yourself. James, you are through. Unmute yourself. James. Okay. James is not saying anything, so let's go back to Thato as we wait for James to come through. If you also want to join the conversation, come in the back end, join us, and then we will unmute you, or you'll have to unmute yourself so that we can be able to talk to you. And you'll be able to pose your question directly at Mr. Thato Matsemela. He's now preparing his old maps so that he can show us information that supports his claims. Go on, Tate.
So this is Jerusalem, the temple. It's located in Namibia. So you can see Jerusalem here. Can you see Jerusalem? So Nero was also here destroying the temple. Nero sent his boys above Vespasian. So Vespasian, Abu Titus. Nero, can you see Nero here in the site of KwaZulu Natal? Can you see Nero here?
Okay.
This is Nero.
Let's provide context.
So Nero.
Hold on, Thato. Let's provide context. Not everyone is from Southern Africa or Africa. We've got people watching from Canada and all across the globe, right? Now, this is the map of Southern Africa. From what year is this map?
Is it 1880? Let me look again.
1858 Mamochi, Southern Africa map. Okay. So just zoom into it and continue. So we are looking at the map of Southern Africa from 1858. This predates the Berlin Wall. The Berlin Conference, right? But I see they had already named it the Orange River. I would like to believe that's not what Africans called that huge river. That starts from the Atlantic into central, what we call today, South Africa. Carry on, we can see the map. So that's the Orange River.
That's the Orange River, which is also connected to Jordan River. The Jordan River, which is actually situated near in Lesotho. So the Drakensberg Mountain, actually, it's also connected to the Drakensberg Mountain, which is in Lesotho. So when you talk about the rivers, that's why they say Lesotho's water, it's spiritual, because its water is very pure and clean. So this is actually how they planned to actually destroy it. That's how they destroyed the temple. That's how they destroyed the city of Jerusalem. So they came here to settle and created this system so that you cannot connect with the land. You cannot connect with the Father. You cannot connect with the Creator. So nini na nini. So you see Natal here. Natal, they were taken by the Portuguese. I'll even show you. And Zululand. There were two tribes that were separated because before it was called into KwaZulu Natal. The person that named KwaZulu-Natal in 1400s, his name is Vasco da Gama. So Vasco da Gama is the one that named it into KwaZulu-Natal. So they were sanctioning their religions onto the Bantu people and brought in Christmas. That's why people are celebrating Christmas. So they were actually using forcing their religions onto their people to worship Jesus and to worship other deities that they don't even know. They don't even know this deity. They are foreign. They are foreign towards us.
Okay, wait. There are some things that you say that. Sorry, Brother Tad. There's things that you say that trigger my senses, and I have to correct. If I'm wrong, you let me know. You're saying KwaZulu-Natal comes from Vasco da Gama. Maybe you want to say Natal comes from him, but not the KwaZulu part. Because Zulu as a nation was put in place by Ushaka, who was probably around in the late 18th century, 19th century, early 19th century, 1700s, 1800s. That was way after Da Gama. So that's when the Zulu nation was formed. So I doubt that Da Gama came with KwaZulu-Natal. Maybe Natal, because it's a Portuguese name for port, if I'm not mistaken. But here's another question. Here's someone who says, can we compare it to the 1858 map region that is known as Jerusalem today? So if you look at that city that is called Jerusalem in that map that you're showing us, right? So if you can go back to the Atlantic Ocean, we're by the Indian Ocean now. So if we can scroll back to the Atlantic Ocean and look at this Jerusalem, that is there. Now we're going to need to try to locate it. So it's just above the Orange River. If you can zoom in there, because we're trying to look at Jerusalem and we're trying to compare it with today's map. So with this, we do see Jerusalem. I appreciate that. There's a Jerusalem. It's just above Orange River, if you can see. So someone is saying, G.T. Parker says, let's compare then what this place is now called. Let's search Jerusalem, Namibia today. Let's see if it's going to give us anything. Okay, so obviously this thing is going to confuse us. Virtual Jewish History Tour, Namibia. Jerusalem as capital of both Palestine. Namibia reiterates its long-standing position that Jerusalem remains the international recognized capital. Okay, I don't think it's giving us what we want, Thato. I don't think it's giving us what we want. But continue with your explanation.
Okay. You should go to togoda.com and also search for Jerusalem in Namibia. Okay. It's a search engine.
Do that on your side, please. Help us, because I'm struggling with sharing on my side. Do that on your side. Thato is showing us an old map of Southern Africa to affirm his claim that Jerusalem is in Namibia. We've just seen the map. It's called the 1858 map. I just forgot the name of the person, but we can bring back that name of that person. He suggests that if we are searching for the truth on these old locations and them being in Africa, we shouldn't be using Google. The last time he was here, he made reference to this search engine, Togoda. Why this search engine? Who made this one, Thato? Why is it revealing these secrets that they want to hide from us?
It's a search. I use other search engines, but I use other search engines such as what's called
DuckDuckGo.
Is it called? Okay, can you still view the screen?
Jerusalem other sources. Jerusalem other sources point to Lesotho, even others to deserted place in Namibia. Time will tell. Do you want to open that article so that we can see what the article says?
Okay.
No. Okay. But you're opening the map now. The article on the top result here, that one. Let's open that one and see what it says. Thato is taking us back in time to 1858 to a map that was around that located a place called Jerusalem in Namibia. Go up, Thato. Let's maybe read that article. Let me just make my screen bigger here so that I can be able to also read this thing. Okay, let me read that map. Oh, sorry, the article. Ancient Israel was and still is in Southern Africa. So this is written by Ntando Yenkosi in September 1, 2020. Looks like a blog post. I could be wrong. Okay, but let's read it. We are a core group of believers that believe that the ancient land mentioned and described in the Bible is nowhere near or ever was located in the area today known as the Middle East. If you read and consider ancient history, way before Europeans, before Mohammedans, okay, those will be your Muslims, right? But it says Turks here. Before Romans, before Greeks, before Persians, before Chaldeans, whatever they were. Yeah, I'm also struggling. And even before Babylonians. And the world was very different, was a very different place, both geographically and ethnically. And people back then also, of course, had a completely different outlook on the world as we know it and take for granted today, both in terms of ecologic preservation, living with the land, and spiritually thinking terms of being in tune with nature and God. For starters, Jerusalem was described as being, here's the crux of the matter now, on top of or above the world, being the mother of all. Quotes Galatians 4:26, which is regarding a different size shaped earth, round, flat, a pyramid, or a cylinder for that matter. Okay, I don't know what that means. Would place the city in the area of South Africa. Furthermore, in ancient times, the East, let me know if you want to interject, Tatone. Furthermore, okay.
To clarify some of the things,
Okay.
and also to correct myself in the previous statement before that, when we were actually, in the beginning. Yeah, when you look into the area of, we know that into the book of Jubilee quotes that Shem was in the center, and also he was blessed because the center is actually it's actually the wealthy land. It's actually the wealthy land, but it quotes also that the holy land that actually the descendants of Shem will dwell in. It's actually in the Eden, the east of Eden. So the east of Eden is actually located in South Africa, which is we know by the link of Adam's calendar, because Adam's calendar is actually located in South Africa, which is it's located in South Africa. Inzalo yelanga,
Inzalo yelanga, the birth of the sun.
The birth of the sun, because of the southern part of Africa, it's actually the elevation is up. It's high. It's in the higher elevation. It's in the higher elevation. That's why Egypt is down. Then south it's upwards.
Okay, what I find interesting about these assertions and this information that keeps coming forth is that, okay, a lot of Africans are rising up saying that the Holy Land is on the continent of Africa. But now what I found intriguing is the people in the South will say it must have been here. The people in the West, Nigeria, Ghana, those places, they say, no, it was here. The people in the East, Ethiopia, Eritrea, Sudan, they say, no, it has always been here. Who do we trust? Who do we go with when everyone is claiming it for themselves?
Oh yeah, powerful question. Obviously, people will actually bring those information. I'm not saying you should actually believe in me, but what I'm saying, you should investigate the information, because people will actually say it's in Ethiopia, because Ethiopia is Kush. Those are the Kushites. those are the Kushites. So they are the ones that actually enslaved the Bantu people when they were actually, conquering the Bantu. Kush is actually Babylon, which occupies the area of Ethiopia and Sudan. So the pyramids of Sudan are the pyramids of Kush. So that's when the Bantu people were enslaved there by their cousins and were enslaved into the land of Egypt. So they did not cross the Red Sea, because when you look into the etymology of the Red Sea, it means Nile River. They crossed the Red Nile River. It was red because it was turned into blood. That's why the Nile River flows down into the Mediterranean Sea. So from Egypt to Israel, it's down, but they went up.
Okay, let's carry on with the article. James, is it James now? James, you came in and then you went out. But let's carry on reading this article. I don't want us to finish it though. Okay, I'm just going to move you so that I can close this thing. Okay, let me carry on. Something is in my way now. It's okay. So the Romans, where exactly is this ancient city of Jerusalem? Or, okay, rather it says where exactly this ancient city of Jerusalem was. And remember, it was completely destroyed after a series of savage invasions, chiefly by Romans, which is not easy to ascertain. Though I do have suggestions based on personal beliefs and a good deal of cultural. Okay, so Thato, is this one of your references for this claim that Jerusalem is in Namibia? Because to me, it sounds like a blog post, but I don't know if you want to go deeper into the blog post and maybe we interrogate it. And I'm making a call to you as a person who watches and follows the channel. Get on board. There's a link pinned at the top of the chats. Join us here. James, you were in and then you muted your mic. But I want you guys to join us so that you can engage Thato. People said I gave him a hard time, and I feel like I'm moving towards that zone now. I do not want to give him a hard time. I want him to be relaxed as possible so that he can clarify and explain this new information that is bringing forth. It's new to me, might not be new to you. So please be patient with me. I grew up Christian, come from a Greco-Roman Christian background. First thing to do is to be on a defensive, right? Because I want to protect this religion that I've always followed. But I'm open to new information. But the new information needs to be backed by credible sources. I don't know what credible sources are. That could be a point of departure, could be a point for debating. But bring forth what your references are. And then we can then talk on the references. Are they credible? People talk about peer reviews and all that. Let's bring in Green Sahara. Green Sahara, welcome. We're not seeing you. Are you there, Green Sahara? Okay, let me add her somewhere. Saying you seen Green Sahara. Hello, Green Sahara.
Hello.
Hello, how are you? How are you?
I can't hear anybody.
You can't hear me? Green Sahara, welcome. Green Sahara, you're in the dark. You are in. Talk to me. How are you doing? Can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me, brother? Talk. Can you hear? Talk, brother.
Hey, brother.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you guys. I don't know if you can hear me or not, but I can't hear what you're saying.
We hear you. Go on. Say your thing.
Oh man, that's crazy. No, I'm online and I can't hear anything you're saying, so I'm just gonna say a couple things. So I know Thato. I've known the brother for like a year and a half. Good brother. I'm in America right now. I don't know where to start, but I want to help him with this presentation right now. So a lot of the maps that he's giving people to look at, super accurate maps, and at the same time there are more things that we should comb through if we're studying these maps. So Jerusalem is a good place marker. It's a great place marker if you want to start there. But you have scriptural locations all across the southern part of Africa, namely in South Africa, in Botswana, Zimbabwe, Namibia, and Zim also. But in South Africa, it can't be understated that every single location that was in the Bible, what they call the Bible, was in the continent of Africa, and a large chunk of the stories that happened in the Bible took place in South Africa. So we can talk about Jerusalem, sure, but I want to point. I want to see if you guys, because again, I can't hear you. I can't hear if you're trying to stop me from talking or anything. But just wave against, like wave and give me the stop. But one of the biggest, and this is the biggest on the earth, the biggest evidence that Jerusalem or just the Bible stories happen in South Africa. Everybody knows the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Everybody knows that they said that the Most High, which is Sonini Nanini, threw fire and brimstone down. And there's two villages on the Eastern Cape. One is called Sodoma and one is called Gomorrah. It's actually a TV show on Netflix, a South African TV show that came out like 2001 called Qumra. Fantastic TV show. Anybody ever seen it? Wonderful show. But the biggest impact structure on the face of the earth is actually on the peripheral of these two villages. It's called the Vreed Fort impact structure. Everybody should look that up if you can. It's the biggest on Earth. It's the biggest impact. It's a huge crater, and those two villages, Sodoma and Gomorrah, are not far from there. Anybody can look this up. That's just one. We can talk about where Messianic was born. Now, at least now in the awakening, people are starting to bring out the information that Messianic was born in Bethlehem, in Lesotho, and born in Bethlehem in Mpumalanga, baptized in the George River in Lesotho, and raised in Nazareth in Lesotho also. Now, we know these places are not far from each other. Anybody can go there. I know people who live not far from there, actually. And we all know, especially in this awakening, that it's hard to believe that, the Bible is talking about these places in Africa. Mainly for one, that we've been put under witchcraft for a long time. A lot of spells. We don't even think much of ourselves as people, as Bantu people. We don't know who we are. Now we're coming into some truth, into some understanding of who we are and where we come from. So I feel like that, we can throw out place names, and I can throw out mountains, like Mount Hermon in the Western Cape is not far from Mamre. That's in the Western Cape. It's not far from Cape Town. I can throw out names all day. I can throw out names literally for hours, and so can Thato. I know we can, and we can show you guys, but it's like, I feel like, and
throw the names, brother. I know you can't hear me.
The biggest hurdle that we have to get over.
You can't hear me on your side, correct?
As a people, so as a Bantu,
you can't hear me.
Is to have that self-worth. We have to rediscover that self-worth within ourselves. We don't have so much of it, and we know, and we can blame. We can point fingers at all kind of people, right? Because they actually have the blame. Right, and even our ancestors have blame because they did things that they shouldn't have done, that put us in really precarious positions right now. Now we're the only people who are scattered across the earth. Black people are the only ones who are scattered and put in captivity, either on the continent of where we're coming from or here in America. I spell America with 3 Ks. But we're the only people who fit that description, scattered and enslaved across the earth, and we don't know who we are. We're literally the only people on earth. Nobody of any other nation, any other continent or country can say that their ancestors have gone through this. And specifically, it says in Genesis chapter 15, verses 13 through 14, talks about how we will be put in a plan of our captivity for 400 years. I'm in America. My ancestors have been here for a long time in the captivity. We don't come from here. We come from Africa. I know where my ancestors come from on my mother's side of the family and my father's side of the family. Congo, my father's side of the family, and Nigeria is mixed up on my mom's side of the family. Cameroon, all kind of places. But I'm not trying to get too far ahead, but yes, I wish you guys can hear me, but I'm just gonna get off because I know you guys want to have rebuttals, and Thato is, I'm sure he's not done. But thank you. I'm so happy that you're giving this brother a platform. This is amazing. There's so much more that we're going to discover. There's so much more that I think that it's so many more things that we need to unfold and uncover and show our people. And we have to start spiritually first. So we have to start within. So anyway, I appreciate everybody. Zola Quingy, all praises to Modimo.
There you go. I don't know now if I'm still audible. Thato, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay, so is that one of your brothers?
Yes, that's one of my brothers.
Okay.
He's one of my brothers.
So is he a teacher? Is there a movement? Hold on. Is there a movement? Is there a church? If someone wants to get this knowledge, how do they get hold of you guys?
First of all, you just have to go to Black V Education TV onto the YouTube. He has all these teachings. We all learn from the source. From Musawam Dali, we all learn from Sister Johnny John. So I was able to actually expand further in other cases, gather other resources for myself. So yeah, that's where you can actually find the truth. The teachings are there online. They're even there in the website. That's where you can actually find them. I'm just an individual person who's actually been studying these things, trying to understand the truth. Therefore, I got to that. I got that information, so I was able to investigate the information, and I was able to actually discover other things for myself. So, as I recommend is for you to actually just make research and look for the truth. The truth will set you free.
Okay.
We have to make an effort of actually finding the truth. For somehow the Creator will meet you halfway. To make an effort is different from actually waiting for it, because you have to find it. You have to make an effort. Life is about making efforts.
Okay. We seem to be still having this problem with your sound. People are saying there's still a lot of echo. I don't know. I tried to cancel it on my side. It ended up muting me. So unfortunately, I need to apologize. We're going to have to bear it out until the end. We left with about 15 minutes. I want to look at questions that people are bringing up or comments, right? So this one is saying Black Re-Education TV here on YouTube. Is that the platform, Thato?
It's the platform. It's a platform of Black V Education TV.
Okay.
Yes, it's the platform.
If you can just go to their YouTube channel on your side, and then we'll also beam it here as you share your screen, that side. Now there's a conversation in the chats. People are going back and forth about where do we find Petra, land of Edom, and Nabateans. I think someone was saying it was located south of Jerusalem. So someone is claiming that it is somewhere in West Africa. Edom is Benin Empire towards Ghana. The country of Edom, Benin Empire towards Ghana. That's what Africa Holy Land is saying. And then certified Breezy says, but Edom was located south of Jerusalem. So that's the conversation. Edom is located between
Edom is actually located in Central Africa. I'm showing you the map. Let me show you the map. It's where the Esau was actually located. Zaire was actually located. So I'll even show you the map of Agog. There's even Agog in the old maps. Let me try to zoom.
If you are finding, as Thato tries to sort out his maps, if you're finding value from what Thato is presenting, make sure you hit the like button and you share this broadcast. I am hoping that it is recording in the background, because if we have a lot of audio issues, if it is being recorded in the background, then we will be able to do our own recording with our audio so that we can share it with better audio. Carry on, Brother Thato.
So Edom is Zaire. So when you find Zaire in the Bible, you find out Zaire is actually located. It's where Edom is located. So this is Edom. This is Zaire. You find it. Let me show you other maps which shows Agog in the Central Africa. But you're able to look at Zaire. In other maps, you even find Herod in Congo. You even find Herod in. You see Negro. This is where the Negroes were taken as slaves. Let me show you other maps.
Hold on, Thato. You say Adam, but we don't see Adam there. We see Zaire. And someone,
Edom, for you to find the location.
Sorry, Shagava is asking for links to these maps. Is it possible to share the links to these maps? Or what should they search for?
Sorry, say that again.
So Shagava is asking, where can they find these maps? He's asking for links to these maps. Okay, I think Thato's connection has, it's struggling there. He's in Lesotho trying to bring us this information. The last I checked, I think Elon Musk was providing internet for them. Maybe him and his buddies don't want this information to come out. Thato, are you there? Okay, he's back. Carry on.
So Zaire, when you look into the book of Genesis, chapter 32, verse 3, it says the land of Zaire comes from Edom. When you find the Edom, the location of Edom, that's when you find Zaire. So this is Zaire, which is Congo. Congo. So what this is Akobi's twin brother in Central Africa. Because the two nations were into wombs of Rebecca. So these two nations are Esau and Akobi. So Esau, which is Esau, is located in Congo. You see by the land of Zaire, this is Zaire. Even other maps you find Agog located in Central Africa. So according to Genesis chapter 32, Genesis chapter 32, verse 3.
Do you want to go to that scripture?
You can go for people who are actually watching it would actually to have evidence so they can actually be satisfied. So people are not satisfied because I don't provide with reference. So this is the Negro land. This is where the descendants of Shem was dwelling, because Shem was actually dwelling here, but this is in the center. But the holiest land, which were given here, is actually located in the south. That's where Adam's calendar is actually located. So Adam's calendar is located in South Africa. That's where actually, I would say, the first people to actually be in the land. So yeah.
What is the significance of Adam's calendar? Because you keep mentioning it, you keep bringing it up. For someone who doesn't stay in South Africa, they might not know that there's a place in Mpumalanga called Adam's calendar. And I want to put it to you that it is possible that a lot of South Africans, people who are based here, do not know of such a place. I myself probably found out about Adam's calendar no more than 5 years back. Tell us about this Adam's calendar. You keep bringing it up. Inzalo yelanga, that's what some people call it. What is its significance to what we are talking about today?
It's a trace. This book represents, it's a story. This is a story of certain people that are chosen, that their story has been stolen from them by the Europeans. So when you look into the Bantu calendar, it's connected to the Adam's calendar. So this is the genealogy of descendants of Sonini Nanini, because Unkulunkulu gave birth to Unkulunkulu. So Umkulu. So it means that it's not about spiritual Israelites. This is about bloodline. It's about the bloodline. Those who have DNA of the Most High.
Okay. Okay. And then in Inzalo Yelanga, what is its significance?
Inzalo Yelanga, it's a story. This is a story of certain people that are chosen, that their story has been stolen from them by the Europeans. So when you look into the Bantu calendar, it's connected to the Adam's calendar. So when you look into the Bantu calendar, it's connected to the Adam's calendar. So this is the genealogy of Sonini Nanini, because Unkulunkulu gave birth to Unkulunkulu. So it means that it's not about spiritual Israelites. This is about the bloodline. It's about the bloodline. Those who have DNA of the Most High.
Okay.
The birth of the sun, that's when the sun rises, that's the time. There's a description of time because this is the oldest calendar. It is older than the Egyptian calendar. This is the oldest calendar that we have in the whole world. The oldest. There's no older calendar. The Bantu calendar, there's no older calendar than this one. So the link to Adam's calendar, it's a location into the book of Jubilee, which quotes that Adam's calendar, Eden is located at east, which is in east south. So that is east. Because when you look into the maps, it will locate you. This is the location of the east. So that is Adam's calendar. So that's where you find Eden. That is the location of Eden. Because if we say it's Egypt, if we say it's if we say it's the location of Eden is located in Ethiopia, the description of those rivers, the 4 rivers, but I have to go find more researches. It's actually evident, like Tata River. It's also Tigris, which is connected to the Tigris River. Tata River, which is in Eastern Cape, which is the land of Benjamin, which they call them Benjamin. So that's the descendants. Xhosa people in all their different tribes that are descendants of Benjamin, because these 2 tribes were actually separated from other tribes. That's when Solomon, before Solomon died, that's when we were separated. After the death of Solomon.
Have you personally, Thato, been to some of these locations? Or is your information sharing based on hearing other people talk about it? Are you writing a book? Are you writing a blog? How far has the seeking of this information taken you in trying to gather more information regarding these things that we are talking about?
The first thing that I actually did is to actually tell people the truth. Try to actually, share the thoughts, what I've discovered. That's the thing. I haven't written a book currently, but one day, one of my dreams is to actually create a movie or an anime which actually shows the story which we are not taught in this world. It will actually be a wonderful thing. To be creative in telling stories nowadays. So it's part of my dreams to actually, it's something I'm still working on. Like I'm saying, I'm still working on myself in the company that I'm running currently. So yeah, I hope you understand. To share the information, I'm just sharing the information. So people to investigate it.
Okay. That's what Thato is saying. He is just a vessel. He's a messenger. He is sharing the information. It is for you to investigate. Let's read a couple of comments and then we'll close it off. Michael Sibindi says, Africa, Holy Land, has it ever dawned on you that people groups travel? I don't know if he's engaging with other people now on the chat. Africa, Holy Land says the reason slaves were captured in Western Africa is because Esau exists there. Who is this Esau? If you have the answer, share it with us on the comments, because I had a live a couple of weeks back with Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ and Ron Dalton Jr. of H2NTV.com. They were going back and forth, maybe not going back and forth. Ron came in on the live stream and asked Bishop Nathaniel on who Esau is. My understanding is that one of the 2 parties says Esau is a white man. So if he's a white man, he is the devil. But I think Ron's position is Esau is not the devil, because Esau is the brother of Jacob, Jacob, if I'm not mistaken. But
it wouldn't.
Okay. Come through, Thato. Yeah.
No, it wouldn't make sense that if Jacob was given birth to Rebecca who was black, then how is it, if we are saying Jacob is black, how did Esau become white? Are we saying white in the context of white people? Because he wasn't white. He was light in complexion. When you look into the etymology of Esau, it's associated with the word red. So in Bantu, red is above. So he wasn't a white man. It's a lie. You cannot be in Congo and expect white people to come in Congo. It's not the truth. It's not the truth. Esau is not a white man.
Okay. So that's what people are saying. Africa Holy Land seems to agree with you. He is saying, if Esau is the white man, then Bantus are not Israelites. G.T. Parker says Esau is the so-called white man. So there are differences already. G.T. Parker is on the other side. And then Brother James is still waiting for you to come through. Maybe when you come through, you won't be able to hear us. But when you come through, we will just ask you to unmute yourself so that you can go on talking. And then I'll give you a thumbs up when you've made your point. But we want you to come through. Carry on, Thato.
And also, when you look, I'm actually showing you a dictionary of South African place names by P.E. Rapper of Human Science Research Council. So when you look into the page, it's in page 107. It confirms that the South African, it's the Canaan's land, which is the biblical Canaan's land, is Canaan's land, if you are able to view it here.
Okay. Are you sharing the screen?
Yeah, I'm sharing the screen.
Okay, let's go to the screen. Hold on. Internet Archive. Yes. What were you saying about this screen that you're sharing?
That in the other references to people to go and look at is the Dictionary of South African Place Names by P.E. Rapper in the Human Research Science Council. They proclaim that the Canaan's land in South Africa is, they even give it the etymology of the name. You see, Canaan's land is the Canaan's land. Yeah. You see?
So this is called Internet Archive. Is that the platform you're on? archive.org/details/dictionary of Southern African place names. Okay, interesting. So what is it showing us? What is it telling us?
It shows that the real Canaanites, the Canaanites, are the Khoi. You see, the name derived from the Khoi, and refers to the Kana root, which is edible type. You see, it also refers to the Canaan's land and the Canaan's land. Has the K and with the C, Canaan. That's why it's called Canaan, because the clicks. That's why it's a Xhosa, they're able to speak in clicks. That's the intermingling. The Bantu people, this is the promised land. So the Bantu people were intermingling with the Khoisan. So the Khoisan actually originates from East Africa. They have their cousins, which you call the Hadza. So they also speak in clicks. So they originate from East Africa, came here to the south. But when Abiyama came to the south, when he was leaving his father to Mesopotamia in West Africa, then they came here to the south, to the Canaan's land. That's when he born. And he went down to Egypt, because Egypt is down, and went up out of Egypt. In Genesis chapter 13, verse 1, you find that Abiyama went up out of Egypt into the south, into Canaan's land. This is the real Canaan's land. So this is the real holy land.
Okay. So someone is asking, I don't know if I've shared this now. Someone is asking here, what does the scripture say about Esau? G.T. Parker is asking. I'm Googling now, who is Esau, right? Let's go to the, should we trust Wikipedia or should we go to Britannica? Let's go to Britannica. Britannica says Esau in Hebrew Bible, Old Testament, Book of Genesis 25:19 to 34, 27, 28, 6 to 9, 32, 3 to 21, is a son of Isaac and Rebekah, the elder twin brother of Jacob, and in Hebrew tradition, the ancestor of Edomites. Now, this goes with what we're asking where Edom is. And Esau is the ancestor of Edomites. Hence, you are saying he's not a white man. Correct? Because the people of Edom are, as you said, in Zaire, which is today known as DRC. Some are arguing in the comments, in the live chat, that no, actually, it is in West Africa, in the area of Ghana and Nigeria. So that's who Esau is. Elder twin brother of, he's not a twin brother. Is he a twin? He's the elder brother of Jacob, son of Isaac and Rebekah.
He's not the elder brother. Remember, the Europeans are bringing it in deception. Remember, the Bible itself, it's a genetically modified book. How do you expect the Europeans to give you the truth like that, which is naked? It's impossible for them to give you the truth, because if they are actually giving you the truth, therefore, you will be able to question Christianity. You are able to question everything. The authority over your land, the authority over your minds. So for them to keep an authority is to bring it in deception so that they can push their propaganda. So when you look into the etymology of Jacob, you find it in Hebrew is Jacob, in Greek it's Lakob. Actually, it's the Y, it's a prefix, so it's Akobi. So in Yoruba, Akobi is the first born, not Esau. Europeans are lying to you.
Okay. Someone said, let us look at Esau Zambia. And I've just done that. I want to read what it is giving us. Unfortunately, I'm unable to share my screen here. But now the Google large AI model, large language model, the ChatGPT of Google, I'll call it that, Gemini, is trying to give us an answer here. It's saying Esau Zambia can refer to several things. A Zambian person named Esau, that's not what we're looking for, I think. Esau as a metaphorical representation of Zambian people. The story of Esau and Jacob from the Bible has been used in a LinkedIn post, to draw parallels between the relationship between the Zambian people and the mining industry in Zambia. I do not know if that's what you're making reference to, G.T. Parker. I don't know if it was you that mentioned Zambia and Esau. No, it was Green Sahara. Green Sahara is the brother that just came in on the live and he shared some knowledge. So Green Sahara, is that what you're talking about? The mining and the relationship between Zambian people and the mining industry in Zambia? We know Zambia is full of copper, right? It is called, there's even a region called the Copper Belt. They do a lot of copper mining there. I would want to assume that there are the other things that are also mined there. G.T. Parker says no. I don't know if he's responding to us. Spiker Horn is saying, Sen, a white man. Green Sahara says, no, it was me. I get you. I got you, Green Sahara. We got that comment. But now, what does that LinkedIn post say? What does it say? My issue is us taking information that we get from the internet, from maybe someone who can write in a convincing way, and then saying that, we are so convinced with how eloquent, if a written piece can be eloquent, or how well put together this written piece is, that it must be true. Whatever is being said there is the case, and now we can go with this as our reference for whatever claim to whatever we're saying about maybe the people of God, the locations of the Bible being in Africa, and so forth. When I say please bring credible sources and references, I don't really like making parallels with the academic world, because I think it also has its weaknesses. But we talk of peer review mechanisms in the academic world when people do research. That would be people in the same space or in the same discipline who have also studied matters of that discipline. Looking at this information and this research that you have done to say, based on common knowledge, based on the research that you have done and the findings that you have done, this is a credible piece of information. So if we're going to come here and say, no, I saw an article, no, I saw a blog post, no, I saw a LinkedIn article, I would say it doesn't suffice. But you, as a person who's watching, what suffices for you to say that information is credible? This is a question to you. If you're watching, you're on the chats, what makes you believe something that is new to you? What references should be quoted for you to be convinced or for you to entertain? There's someone saying, yes, sir, copper belt. Thato, come in, brother. I'm just gonna beam these comments now. I've extended it a bit, but I'm giving it 7 more minutes and then we shut it down.
Okay. So another thing to actually to put in place about people to go further. When you look into the Patmos in Greece, it's not a prison island. It is not a prison island. It is not a prison island. You can even Google it into your maps and see videos. There's no prison island in Greece. So this European concept that they have plagiarized it as if it's the story. It's not their story. They plagiarized it. It's the truth which is brought in deception. That's why white people are benefiting from the land, because the Bantus have broken the commandments of the Creator. And in our culture, there's what we call Horaya Moritwana. And in Sesotho, meaning that a man preparing himself to become a husband. If he desires polygamy, it's also a case which is also accepted in our forefathers' times. So it's a way for a man to prepare himself to pay for lobola. Remember, Akobi paid lobola for his wives. So lobola, it's not a way of buying a woman. Lobola, it's a way of showing an appreciation towards the parents, how they raised the daughter. So life is an investment. So the parents actually have to actually receive that investment, not in a modern way which is misused, not in these times which is misused, because we know that love comes with responsibilities.
Okay, Eugenia is saying something interesting there. People don't really read. True, that's a fair enough statement. Read scripture and learn about Bantu cultures. Eugenia, thank you for that comment. We've had a number of people come on the podcast. I remember specifically Joshua Maponga, Bishop Maponga, Baba Maponga saying, look at the book, look at the culture and the cultures and the traditions in the book. The book is a history of a people. Whatever cultures you find in the book, you will find those cultures in the people of the book. They speak of dowry payment. We call it here ilobola. It is something that is written about in the book, which is culture to a lot of Bantu tribes. We speak of circumcision, ulwaluko ngesixhosa. It is something that is spoken about in the book. It is something that is practiced by many people of the Bantu group. There are other things that they speak of. You look at the animals that are mentioned there. These are animals that are found or that were found in this region of the earth. Mhlaba, lefatz, emhlabeni, as Brother Thato calls it. So a lot of the things that are mentioned in the book are parallel. They resonate. They agree with what is happening in the land of these people of the book. I think let us end it on that note. Brother Thato, I'll give you your last words as we look at maybe the last few comments. Also look at the stones. Roman was lazy culture, could not destroy everything original. And then Michael Sibindi says, why is Petra ruins found in Jordan? Why are the sulfur burnt mountains and pure sulfur deposits found in what is accepted as Sodom? Okay, answer that one and have your closing comments, Brother Thato. Here's a question. Can you see it? Why is Petra ruins found in Jordan? Why are the sulfur burnt mountains and pure sulfur deposits found in what is accepted as Sodom?
In the current Sodom, or
you know the story of Lot and his daughters and how God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, right?
Yes, which are actually located in South Africa.
Yeah, your brother said that Green Sahara, when he came in, he spoke of Sodom and Gomorrah. We know it as a TV series here. We didn't know if it had a deeper meaning or a hidden meaning. But now, Michael Sibindi is challenging your narrative, your take on these biblical locations, saying, why is Petra ruins found in Jordan? Let's look up these Petra ruins. I know nothing of them, but let me look them
I
up.
know.
Petra ruins, the ruins of St. Peter. Okay. Ruins of St. Peter. Okay, I'm seeing white soil, which I would assume is what he's referring to as the sulfur that he speaks of, which was the fire that destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, correct? And you, on the other end, Thato, you say, no, Sodom and Gomorrah are here. Where? In Alexandria?
I even showed the Canaan's land. If the Canaan's land, in which is in actually, because if Sodom and Gomorrah are there, I don't know what the current locations,
Brother
but
Thato, when I ask a
yes.
question, please stick to this that I'm talking about. Don't give a long background to something else. Sodom and Gomorrah, where are they? Please locate them for us.
They're in South Africa.
Where?
They're in South Africa. Even in South Africa, near Alexandria. You can even Google Sodom and Gomorrah into the phone. You are able to find them in South Africa, located.
So it's that place called Alex.
Because even Alexandra, the place called Alexandra, remember that it's not named just for Alexandra. Even Alexandra did conquer, the Greeks did conquer here in the southern region. There are old maps which shows the Greeks conquering here in South Africa, in West Africa, and also in the central part, even
No,
north.
Brother Thato, let's focus on this one. Sodom and Gomorrah. Leave Alexandria, because this is a name that came afterwards. Maybe now I'm wrong by saying it doesn't have relevance, but Sodom and Gomorrah. How do you get to place them here? What similarities do they have with the Sodom and Gomorrah that is mentioned in the Bible? If we all take the Bible as our history. I don't know if that's how you feel. But what parallels can you draw between the Sodom and Gomorrah in the Bible and the Sodom and Gomorrah, which you say is Alex, here, north of Johannesburg?
Because it is that the location of the real biblical Sodom and Gomorrah, it is in South Africa. It is in South Africa. It is in South Africa. So if you're saying the Sodom and Gomorrah, let me give you a huge link. When Abraham or Abiyama went to Canaan's land, so which means he actually named Sodom and Gomorrah in the land of Canaan's land. So the Canaan's land, which is Israel, where is Sodom and Gomorrah in Israel? Because Sodom and Gomorrah is in the land of Canaan's land, which is in South Africa. So South Africa is Sodom and Gomorrah, the biblical Sodom and Gomorrah.
Brother Thato, when people are debating or they're having an interaction verbally, there's a term that is always used. Raise your argument, not your voice. You are now raising your voice. You are not bringing anything substantial to support your claim of Sodom and Gomorrah being in South Africa. Green Sahara is in the comments. He came in, he tried to clarify some things. He's saying now we must Google something here. Come in, Green Sahara. We'll allow you to talk. Let us live here on this life without any shadow of a doubt that Sodom and Gomorrah are in South Africa, particularly north of Johannesburg, in a place that is riddled with poverty and a huge rat infestation, which is called Alexandra, which Brother Thato now is claiming that it is Sodom and Gomorrah. Green Sahara is coming in. Let's allow him to talk.
Hey, family. So one more time, I can't hear you, but anybody just take your phone or computer, Google, or go to mapcarter.com and look up Sodoma, and that place is in South Africa, and Gomorrah. Those two places are both in South Africa, not too far from one another. And the reason why that's important is because the biggest, listen very carefully, everybody, the biggest impact structure, meaning the biggest evidence that something came down from the sky on the earth is in South Africa. It's called the Reed Fort Impact Structure. And the villages that are not far from there are Sodoma and Gomorrah. They're both in the Eastern Cape. So that's the biggest evidence on the face of the earth. And within, I'm sure that I can't do it now, but I have a whole lot of information on the impact structure on the Reed Fort. And so what's important about this is the story of Sodom and Gomorrah is this, right? They say that Sonini would rain fire, and Sodoma and Gomorrah, these two places that are in South Africa, not in the Sahara Desert, not in the Israel place, the Levant. And it's nothing up there but lies. But this is where it happened. And like the reason why this story is important is because it said that the Most High, what they call him the Most High, but it's really just a creator Modimo, he rained fire. And they said that Lot and his daughters and his wife, they went to Zoar. Zoar is also in South Africa. It's in the Western Cape. They had to travel from the Eastern Cape to the Western Cape to get out of the radiation zone, because we're talking about impact structure like a meteor, asteroid. We imagine there's a whole lot of radiation that lasted for a long time in that area. I bet you there's a whole lot of evidence of radiation, heavy radiation in that area. I bet you people have hidden this evidence for a long time. But Zoar is actually in the Western Cape. He had to go there. And when I did my research, because Sonini Nanini was guiding me to do all this research, that's why I'm able to talk these things so easily. When I was doing my research, I was like, you know what? In the scripture, there's nowhere that mentions the cave, because Lot was molested by his daughters and raped, and they traded the children of Moab, right? But we know there's a lot of plagiarism. It probably wasn't just his daughters; probably a lot of people, because we know they're cave dwellers, right? So Zoar is in the Western Cape, and Moab is also in the Western Cape. So Moab, I'm sorry. The Moabites were born in the Western Cape, but the cave itself, the very, very cave, is very, very important. There was no evidence online. I couldn't find any books that had any evidence of this. There's obviously no scriptural evidence. No scriptural scholars knew the cave, but I found the cave, because the Creator is always going to give His children like the tools in order to find these things, right? So the cave is called the Sewen Week Sport Cave. SEWEEN WEEKSPOORT. I'm sure I spelled that wrong.
Can you hear me now?
But the Week Sport Cave. Now I had to do the translation. It's Dutch for 7 weeks. And I was curious. I was like, how long did it say? Sorry, I'm gonna end right here, brother. It said I was curious because it said I was curious because I couldn't find anywhere that had a timeline of how long Zoar and his people say son for all generations from. Yeah, but see, the Bible is the Bible is plagiarization. You gotta understand, brother. Like the Greeks, the scribes, the Romans, the Sadducees, the Sanhedrin, the chief priests, the high priests. These people that came here and plagiarized the Bible from South Africa, Qumra. We know that they took that and said they found it in a cave in Qumra in South Africa, but they said it was a cave in the Levant. They even said it was a cave. They even found a cave and said they found the scriptures, the Dead Sea Scrolls in the cave, and they said it was a cave in Qumra in Jordan or some shit. They're lying. They lie, and that's what they always do. So they weave their story into our ancestors' story, but they had to disconnect us and really disassociate us from the Creator. So it was easy for them to do these things and to hammer it down. And even a couple thousand years, a few thousand years later, these people, and they still have us thinking that nothing could have happened in Africa. But yet we still know that the Bible is somehow the Bantu scriptures. Like, come on, we got to put it together. Like, we really got to be serious about these things. Like, these mountains are here. Like, Mount I was putting them in the chat early, Dinano. The Tina River in the Eastern Cape, that's the same Tina River that's mentioned in Jubilees chapter 8, verses 11 and 12, I think 8 and 14 or something like that. But the Tina River is only mentioned inside the Apocrypha. I really do my research, family. The Tina River is really on the Eastern Cape, still runs in the Eastern Cape, people still fish there. Still to this very day. And it's the same Tina River that's mentioned in Jubilees chapter 8, verses 11. If it's not, it's between 8 and 14. Verse 11 and 14. I'm sure of that. But it's so much. Like, I'm not going to plug myself on TikTok here because, I'm not going to do that because it's not my platform. But there are people out here, family, who are trying to find the real locations, who are really trying to show our people that this stuff really did take place in Africa. And we can show you not just because we hope so or like it sounds cool. No. Like these rivers, these mountains, these valleys, these streams, the cultures, the customs are still there. They haven't moved. Even like the localities. Our ancestors, certain lands will be named after our ancestors. Everybody knows that we did that. We kind of still do that. We would name certain places after really important people. So a lot of places all over the continent, from Morocco to the tip of the Eastern Cape, They're named after our ancestors, and it's evidence of all kind of stuff. Like
Thank you. Thank you,
I'll
brother.
say it's evidence of things that we can't even see anymore. It's evidence of things that people think are not around anymore, but it's stuff that's still there, like the Cedarburg Mountains. There's evidence of giants. Look at okay. I mentioned the Cedarburg Mountains. People think that the place called it's a place called Lebanon in the Levant, somewhere in the desert. No. It's actually because if you look at if you Google this, Lebanon has to be close to Hermon, right? Ask Google, is Lebanon close to Hermon? You will find that it is. You will find that it's close to Mamre also. But there are physical key things that the real Lebanon has to have or used to have in the past that make it the scriptural Lebanon. And then you'll learn that the name Lebanon is not the name. Even though they named the place in the Eastern Cape Lebanon, it's not the same place. The things that Lebanon in the Bible has to have are an abundance of trees, cedar trees specifically, and the Clan William cedars in the Western Cape are a protected area of these cedar trees that they say are like a few thousand years old. They protect them. The government of South Africa protects these trees. These trees also, how it says, it talks about these trees in the scriptures, how they set fire to the bramble. I can't remember the scripture, but it sets fire to the bramble of the trees of Lebanon. These specific trees do have seed germination. They have sap that's super flammable. They set themselves on fire all the time. So this happens, I think, twice a year. So for seedling germination, these very same trees in the Western Cape of South Africa, also, it has to have mountains with snow. Y'all know the Western Cape has a lot of mountains of snow out there in Langebaan, and that's the name of the place. Langebaan is not Lebanon, Langebaan. Also, you have to have a garden. It has to have a garden. Y'all know it's gardens all over in the Western Cape. It's called the Cape Floristic Region. And so it has to have the cedars, it has to have the mountains of snow, the gardens, and it has to have bears. There were actual bears that lived in the Western Cape. Y'all Google the bears of the Western Cape, the ancient bears that are extinct now, but there were these huge, and the biggest bears on earth. The biggest bears that ever existed on Earth existed right there in Africa, and there are actually some reports, some archaeological reports that say they found these bones in the northern part of Africa. Some people say they found them in Algeria. I'm not sure if that's true, but I'll do my research on that. But I definitely have done a research on the bears found in the Western Cape. So that's five things actually. It's Mamre and Hermon are close by. You have the bears, you have the gardens, you have the trees, and you have the snow-capped mountains. So you have, and the fact that they say, like in the Bible, and if you Google, Lebanon has to be on the seacoast. Langebaan is on the seacoast in close proximity to Hermon. Hermon is also in the Western Cape. Mamre is also in the Western Cape. If you Google, is Lebanon in close proximity to Mamre and Hermon, it's going to say, yeah, done the research, I already know. So, and this is also the reason why family, like, these Mzungu people, they want the Western Cape, and they've created all this nonsense to get the Western Cape and to push the natives out of that land. And they try to push this thing that saying the Khoisan, the oldest people of this region, the oldest people of the world. Guys, they're lying. They don't come from there. It's just like my brother said, they come from the eastern part of Africa. They're not even from this part of the continent. Like, it's crazy that it really, and it's like now that we're in the age of awakening, and now that these things are being put out, it's hard for people to come to terms with that, and which we understand. That's just the way people are. When they've been married to an idea for so long, and when these ideas have been hammered home, and in the epigenetic sense, like my ancestors here in America, they were hung, raped, all kind of atrocities were done. So some fears or some proclivities that I have might come from them because of the epigenetics. And I know that people were hung, and the same things were happening in South Africa during apartheid. So I know. People don't even know the parallels that Black people in America and Black people in South Africa have. There are numerous in terms of what our brother, in terms of what our ancestors, why identical pink granite in America and Africa.
So you can't hear me at all. You can't hear me.
Sorry, my brother. Sorry.
Put up your volume. Shoot. Put up your volume. Can you hear me now?
Okay, gotcha.
Can you hear me now?
I don't know. I think something happened.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Wait.
Can you hear me? Okay, now he's gone. I wanted to ask him about these parallels between people in South Africa and people in the US. I don't know if he's going to come back. Thato, Green Sahara is supporting you. Let's close it, brother. Let's close it, yeah.
When you look into people into America, you find out these people actually were taken here as slaves in times of 15th centuries in transatlantic slave trade. They were taken from Congo to South Africa and to the places of Angolas into the site of Zimbabwe also. They were taken as slaves and dropped into America. That's why when you look into the Americans, they're like us. They're the same as us. It's just that they are our brothers which were separated from us, as it was prophesied that these foreigners shall come and divide the land, and some of the people shall, and some of you will be taken as slaves and shall be scattered. That's why you look into the old maps or when you look into the west side of Africa, you find Judah. That's when they were scattering away, running away from Jerusalem. When Nero was actually, Vespasian was actually destroying Jerusalem here in the southern region. So they're coming back home. So when they're coming back home, the reincarnation of King David is happening. It's happening. So when majority of people don't have land and minority of people still own land, do you think things won't end up in conflict? They will actually end up in conflict, and they're still in conflict even today. So things won't end up peacefully because the land was taken violently.
Okay. Thank you, Brother Thato. I think this is where we should end it. To be honest, I'm left with more questions than clarity. I don't know, as you're listening, Chagava, I don't know if some of your questions have been answered. Brother James Toussaint, I don't know if your questions have been answered. James says there is no doubt Alkebulan is the center land of our biblical history. I can believe that. But now when we try to really pinpoint the locations, that's where I'm still getting confused. There's another brother who was not convinced. I think is Sibindi, Michael Sibindi. Okay, so the Bible is not reliable now. Hey, I see you people. It would have been interesting to have you come in, Michael Sibindi. If you can come in now, in the next minute or so, maybe we'll give you time to talk. Go to the pinned link, you click there, you come in the background, and you'll be able to share your thoughts. We've got about 168 people watching and only have 82 likes. Everyone who is watching right now, go and hit that like button so that we get our likes over that 150 mark. We thank you, Brother Thato, for coming through. We want to give him a chance to say his last words whilst we wait for people to hit the like button to get over that 150 mark. Just going to take a pause now. Hit the like button. That helps to share this video with other people who might be interested in this type of content. There was someone who had a great idea. Here it is. It's from Lizzie Kanakang. Lizzie saying, Dinano, bring a panel on this matter. Thato smashed the previous guest. So she's suggesting that I bring Yahunde Batakane, Bishop Nathaniel, Ron Dalton Jr., and Aderemi Kunle, so that we can have a panel and they can all discuss this thing. One of the things that I'm actually planning right now is to bring someone like Ron Dalton Jr., who says Canaan land, the promised land of the Bible, the promised land that was promised to the people of God, the Israelites, when they were coming out of the Exodus, is in sub-Saharan Africa. And then you have another person, Sir Amadia Ben Yehuda, who says he's son of Yehuda. But he is pointing us to the land in the area so-called Middle East, where the state of Israel is. I would want to bring such people together on a live stream so that they can bring forth their arguments for why they say the real Canaan land, promised land, is where they claim it is. But I appreciate Lizzie's Kanakang suggestion. That's something we need to work on. Brother Thato, your final words, sir.
To say things is just that we need to pray. You need to pray for these white people, Dinano. We need to pray for these white people because things won't end up peacefully. That's the first thing. We are not also dealing with the matter of white and black. We have spirits that are inside the black skin and also to the white skin. So we cannot also always say it's about. This is not about the black and white thing. It's about the DNA. Those who hold the DNA of the Most High. So when we seek for the truth, I think this is a great opportunity for people with different ideas and different knowledge to engage and to talk about these things, which are very uncomfortable to other people, but yet as long as it makes us being progress to hold the truth. Because what will set a nation or what will set our nation or our continent free is actually investing into the truth.
Thank you very much to everyone who came on board and watched this live stream with Brother Thato Matsemela. Thank you to Green Sahara for coming through. Thank you to Chagava. Thank you to Spiker Hond. Thank you to Lord Mo. Thank you to John Coleman. Thank you to Timothy Kinney, Green Sahara, Mini Keita. I don't remember us playing your message. Send for us like America, send for Africans. We want to come home. There are a lot of Americans who are actually coming through this side. So Mini Keita, look up a channel which is run by an American person who has now, I want to say settled, who has now moved to South Africa. It's called The Real South Africa. There is a YouTube channel called The Real South Africa. So Mini, this is for you. Mini Keita, this is for you. Look up a channel called The Real South Africa. There's a brother from the US who is doing content about good things happening in South Africa. You know, Trump says there are very, very, very bad things happening in South Africa. But this brother who runs that channel, The Real South Africa, says there are good things happening here. And he's getting a lot of African Americans, Black Americans, I don't know what the right term is, to come through. I know he's bringing a group of people from Atlanta to come through and see if they like South Africa and if they can make a living here. I've spoken to Bishop Nathaniel when he was here. Our first interview was done at my place. He was asking me about the rent. He was so shocked at how cheap rent is in South Africa. The place where I stay right now, we're paying about $500 a month on rent. I know it's relative, right? I don't know if $500 is a lot of money to you, but to us it is quite a bit. But yeah, South Africa is an interesting country. You like it here. Yes, there's crime, but yes, there are beautiful places. You just have to tighten up on your security, and you'll know which places you don't want to go to. Like in the US, I'm sure there are places where you don't want to go to, or parts of the city that you don't want to go to. So you just need to take those precautions. There's an interesting comment that I want us to close off on from GT Parker. Thank you for the information. However, knowing the true location of the land will not bring us closer to God. I think that's powerful. As we search the scriptures, as we ask God to give us His Spirit, to open our minds, to open our spiritual eyes, so that we can see and have a revelation of His true self and His nature of love. That's what really matters. But that does not negate the fact that we need to find the truth to who God's people are, and whether what we have always been told from the pulpits where we grew up is actually the truth, or it's just deception from the Greco-Roman narrative of this book that a lot of us hold very dear. That is it from me, Dinilo Hlanga Mekuto. Here I go by the name of Dinano the Mano on Something Nice with Dinano. We still need about 39 of you to hit the like button to get us over to 150 likes. Thank you very much. Thato, send your shout outs and let's end it here, brother.
I'm very, very grateful. Shout out to Green Sahara for actually coming here and providing with more statements. We are learning. Like I said, there is more to discover. We are still learning.
And then there's Zulu Mason from Rodeport. We need to change the names of these places. Even the name of this country, man. I'm tired of this name, South Africa. It means nothing really. But that's where we must end it. Have a good night. Well, it's good night here in South Africa. If you're on the east side of the United States, good afternoon. If you're in Central Africa, it's good night, I guess. And wherever else you could be watching us from, thank you for your time. We truly appreciate. Brother Thato, God bless. We'll bring you on some other time, but we'll talk about something different now, about our languages or something like that. But it's been great. Etoile says, Dumela, brothers, Dumela, Liwena. itoile. Have a good night. Thanks, Brother Thato. That's it. That's the end.